What if a minute was 100 seconds? Every day, we're granted 86,400 seconds to work with. That's eating, sleeping, drinking, and it all too often feels like there just isn't enough time available, counting 60 seconds for a minute rather than 100. One major reason is plain divisibility. For example, today, when someone says it's 2:45, we automatically know that it's 15 minutes until 3 o'clock. However, when we switch to a minute equaling 100 seconds, that 15 minutes of standard time would shrink to only 9 minutes of new time. Now, suppose we also shifted to 100 minutes equaling 1 hour. 2:45 now means that there's a whopping 25 100-second minutes until 3 o'clock. While back in the standard 60-second setup, that length of time would actually equal 41 minutes, and we'd now have days that last just over 8.5 hours, but still equate to roughly the same amount of time that the Earth takes to rotate on its axis. However, if we wanted to continue with the metric theme and introduce a 10-hour day, so that's 10 hours made up of 100 minutes made up of 100 seconds, one day would now take significantly longer than one turn of the Earth. Clearly, it's a mind-bending prospect, so naturally it could cause chaos. All across society, fundamental changes would need to happen whenever a second is used to measure anything. We'd have to rethink our ideas of miles or kilometers per hour, meaning widespread redesigns for cars, other vehicles, and countless other machines. In hospitals, the standard beats per minute measurement would need redefining too. While as BPM is also used by musicians, the change would also affect how we read music and keep time. But the upheaval across several industries would run deeper than simply the switch in minute length. It would also affect the calendar, which we use to keep track of the seasons, prompting us to calculate an entirely new, now not necessarily 12-month calendar, which could prove disastrous for farming and food industries. Keeping abreast of weather conditions would be more important than ever to ensure crop survival. Typically, we're supposed to get around 8 hours of sleep every night, which could mess up our circadian rhythms, at least in the beginning, to tell the time in the first place. All traditional analog clock faces, from the humble wristwatch to iconic buildings like London's Elizabeth Tower, would now be redundant, discarded as relics of a bygone age. Meanwhile, all digital clock faces would need to be reprogrammed or else ditched as well. That means that almost every computer device would be affected, including smartphones, tablets, and laptops. Even social media would be affected, since sites like YouTube and Facebook show how long ago posts were made. Basically anything that's measured in time. As for the stock market, during the moment of switchover especially, a major crash could prove almost inevitable. But that's what would happen if a minute was 100 seconds.